Welcome back to my series on setting goals, finding meaning in life, and getting what you want out of life. If you did see the last video, you'll recall that I talked about 3 ways to reprogram the subconscious. The first one was repetition, practice, practice, practice. The second one was the VAC, right? The VAK, the visualization, the auditory, and the feeling, right? And then the last one was recording and tracking your progress, along with recording and tracking your thoughts, being mindful, being observational when it comes to that stuff. Now, I talked about mindfulness in the last 2 videos, and I didn't really go into it too much, but I'm going to go into it more in this video and in the next video, because I believe that mindfulness is probably one of the strongest, most powerful tools that you can actually use in your everyday life. Now, I won't go too much into it, but my friend gave me a car once. When I got it, there was a swamp in the back seat, along with some dead mice, and the doors didn't work, and it needed new tires. And when I drove, it whistled, and I didn't know what was wrong with it. But the point of this story is I had to go over the car and kind of look into it and see what needed to take place and where were things wrong, like what wasn't running right and all that stuff. We are given these bodies, we are given these minds, and we need to take the time to stop and really look at what's going on within us. And that's why observing our thoughts, observing our beliefs and our behaviors, that's why I believe that this is so important, because if you got pulled over and something's wrong with your car, you are 100% responsible for that. You can say, well, my wife drove it, or it was my friend, it's like, yeah, but you're the one driving it now. You're supposed to check it over before you drive it. But no one really tells us to do that with these vehicles. Mindfulness is nothing more than focusing on the here and now. What are you thinking? What are you feeling physically and emotionally, right? You look at your senses, right? What are you smelling? What do you taste? What do you see? What do you hear, right? The mind, right, it automatically does not live in the present moment. And so we need to be intentional with this. The brain, for whatever reason, it lives in the past, or it lives in the future, or it lives in a made-up scenario. But rarely often is it in the present moment. It's not that it's never in the present moment, it's just that it's not as often as it should be. And the brain is constantly evaluating what is good or what is bad. And we're constantly judging life based on what is good and bad. And it's casting not necessarily moral judgment, although it does that too. The issue with constantly judging, or living in the past, or living in the future, or in a made-up scenario, is that we're kind of missing out on life. We're kind of missing out on the present moment. So that's reason number 1 why it's bad. But the other one is that it really causes unnecessary pain. I used to find myself, I still do, I struggle with this, and I think everyone does, and if not, then I'm weird, and don't judge me, and if you do, don't do it to my face. But I feel like everyone struggles with putting themselves into a fake scenario just so that you can tell someone off, right? I feel like that happens. I would be driving to work, and I would have a scenario kind of pop up in my mind, and then I start arguing with someone, and I'm like, how can they not see? And then before I know it, I'm like, wait, I'm driving right now. Why am I getting all stressed out? My heart's like pounding. I'm starting to sweat. Maybe not that bad, but still, here I am causing unnecessary stress on my body just for a made-up scenario, so I could tell a made-up person about this, how wrong they are in this made-up scenario. What's wrong with them? Mindfulness creates intentionality, okay? It helps you to live here and now. You start becoming more intentional with your life. As you're just wandering off, aimlessly in your mind, You're missing the moment. I'm not in the moment and I'm on autopilot. And the problem is, if you're on autopilot long enough, you kind of wake up at like a certain age and you go, wow, I haven't really been very intentional with my life. I haven't been living in the moment. I haven't enjoyed what I've worked for. I haven't, enjoyed, my kids are all grown up, right? My wife and I are old, or whatever your scenario is. But mindfulness is not just knowing what you're doing in the moment. Mindfulness is finding a connection to that moment, being connected to what is happening in that moment. Now, we have this amazing gift of completely avoiding pain, because pain is uncomfortable and awkward, and sometimes it actually hurts. But most of the time it's just awkward and uncomfortable. There's a lot that you can learn from pain. And there's a lot that you can learn from every situation right here, right now, this moment that you're watching this, that you're hearing this. This is the only time that truly exists. The past is nothing but a memory, and the future is nothing but a dream. But right now, this is the only time that truly exists, right? Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's got its own worries, right? But look at today. What are we doing today in this moment? You're beating yourself up about something that you did long ago. You didn't mean to. You made a mistake, but you still beat yourself up. That's unnecessary. Accept it. Move on. Forgive yourself. You're living in the future. We don't know what the future holds. Andrea 3000 said, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather. Being present, being where you are right now, you are more likely to be happy because you're not living in anxiety or in depression. I'm going to go further into mindfulness in my next video. Please like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. And please comment what you think. Thank you.